What's going on, everybody out there in YouTube land? It's your guy Q, the movie collector here again, back with another 4K video review. And on today's video, we're going to be reviewing probably one of my favorite directors ever. And I make it no secret, I'm a big fan of his work. I grew up watching all of his movies, and it's so nice to finally be able to own I won't say all of his movies, but we own a good portion of the three that really are big standouts in his career. And I am talking about Criterion's new release of John Singleton's The Hood Trilogy. And as you can see here, let me see, get it right here in frame. As you can see here, we got Boys in the Hood, Poetic Justice, and Baby Boy. Which honestly, one of these movies already has a 4K release out, and that would be Boys in the Hood. Now, previously, I did own the Sony 4K release of Boys in the Hood, which I will tell you, if you don't own that, if you had to own any of John Singleton's movies, that movie when it came out in 4K, it looked amazing. I would even go as far as to say that um, it is definitely um, what do you call that? It's a reference disc, if you will. It's a reference disc by far. And it really amazes me that you watch so many top tens of best 4Ks to own. And not on one of those releases, they even have that one on that list. Yeah, that movie, that disc that Sony made, that was a 4K reference disc. Oh, by the way, if you don't know who I am Q, the movie collector. And if you like my content, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more stuff. But sorry, I had to do a shameless plug there. But anywho, um, the rest of the two movies in this collection, which is Poetic Justice and Baby Boy, this is their first time ever on the 4K format. So you can imagine my excitement that I had when this got announced. I was super excited. Let's take a look at the packaging, man. I mean, look at this. I mean, they went full fledged digipack with this thing, as you can see there. If you guys want to take a look at the features that's listed on here, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, they crammed a lot into this thing, and I mean, quite honestly, it's a beautiful set. I know there's people out there that they're not the biggest fans of Criterion's digipacks. I love them. I love them because I feel like you get the true Criterion package that way. And by that, when I say that, they always include a nice booklet with it, which I know a lot of people out there love their booklets. I'm talking to you, Arrow and Second Sight and who else? There's a Severin. There's a few people, few fanboys out there of those boutique labels that love their books. Look, Criterion has their books too, so I just want to say that. So what you got is this very beautiful mapped out art here, and they're all nice art recreations of the poster arts. So you got Boys in the Hood over here, you got Poetic Justice in the center, and then you've got Baby Boy off here to the far side here. And on the inside, you got all the discs nicely put in here. And keep in mind, this is a 4 disc set. So what you're getting in here, all the 4K cuts of it. I want to say I think they also did a Blu-ray release of this. I could be wrong. But they put all the movies on each disc with their audio formats, which by the way, Boys in the Hood has the 2.0 track, and it also has Dolby Atmos, which that same Atmos track is the one that's featured on that Sony 4K that released, which I think Sony did that 4K release in honor of John Singleton because I think they released that shortly after he passed. Which they had like a tribute to him on there and everything. It was a nice release. But let's get into it. I mean, Boys in the Hood. Let's start from the first movie. This is the movie that put John Singleton on the map. And in my personal opinion, it made him a prodigy because people were really looking after him after he released this movie, and it stars Cuba Gooding Jr., Morris Chestnut, Ice Cube's first performance, acting performance, which I will say to date, and I'll debate anybody out there, that was his best acting role to date. Okay. I will say that it was definitely his best acting role to date. Not to say Ice Cube didn't have anything other have any other better roles after this, but this was the one that put him on the map as far as being an actor. And you had a few other people. You had Lawrence Fishburne, which at the time he was, I think he was in his early 30s, I want to say, when he did this film. And Cuba Gooding Jr. played as his son, it's Trey Styles. And it's weird to even put that in there, but I guess it's only because, you know, a lot of people, a lot of parents at the time were young parents. So, but anywho, I'm getting outside of that. So, what the movie follows is it follows Trey growing up. He starts out with his mom, living with his mom, gets into trouble, and then his mom, who is played by Angela Bassett. This is one of her. I don't want to say her first roles, but one of her first big roles, which is minor in this, by the way. He starts to live with his mom, gets into trouble, but then his mom takes him to go live with his dad, Lawrence Fishburne. And from there, he grows up, and then it shows them basically going from childhood to adulthood. Well, teenagers. There's a scene during the childhood portion, and I'll put it there as far as my screen grabs. That's one of the best looking, most beautiful portions of a 4K I've ever seen. It's when they're walking down the railroad track. And you'll know it when you see it, when you watch this movie. It's a very huge standout. And basically what it's all about is just, you know, him and his friends, they're growing up in the hood, pretty much showing, because before this movie came out, there wasn't really a true movie out there that showcased what it was like growing up in the hood. I mean, you had movies like Colors, which showed the life of a cop patrolling the streets of the hood, but you never got an insight from someone who grew up in it. And that's what Boys in the Hood did. And that movie pretty much inspired other movies such as like Menace to Society, South Central, which, by the way, Criterion has a 4K of Menace to Society as well. But we need to get South Central next. Come on, y'all. We gotta get South Central. But yeah, it's a very sad movie. I mean, it does tug at the heartstrings, especially at the end. I mean, right now you've got the horns from Stanley Clark's amazing score in this movie. That's a trending theme song right now when there's like, you know, tension building. People have been using that now, and every time I hear someone in my job play like a TikTok video, I hear that and I think that's Boys in the Hood. So but yeah, that's Boys in the Hood. Amazing movie. I mean, it's even got Regina King in it, which this was her first major acting role outside of her being on 227. And then John Singleton follows up Boys in the Hood with Poetic Justice, which again, it can't be overstated. The guy sees talent in pretty much anybody he brings on board. I mean, he kickstarted those careers of Omar Gooding Jr. I keep saying Omar, Cuba Gooding Jr. He kickstarted the career of Cuba Gooding Jr., blew him up to put him on the map, did the same thing for Ice Cube, and then Poetic Justice, he did the same thing for Janet Jackson. Yeah, Janet Jackson, the the singer. This was her breakout role. I mean, before then, I think she was known as Penny on what is it? Good Times. She was known as Penny on Good Times. And then she also had a role in Fame too in the 80s, but no one talks about that. But she acted her butt off in this. I mean, you had Janet Jackson, you had Q-Tip from A Tribe Called Quest, you had Regina King also in this, you had Joe Torre in this as well, and then you also had the late great Tupac Shakur, which I think before this he actually did Juice, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he did Juice, and prior to Juice, he did nothing but Trouble. So, anywho, what this movie follows is character of Justice, who was played by Janet, and she does poetry, which a lot of the poetry in the film is very beautiful. All of it is inspired by Dr. Maya Angelou, which she did all the poetry in this film, and she also has a cameo later on as well. But it follows Janet Jackson's character of Justice, and she's dealing and still dealing with the loss of her boyfriend who was murdered at the beginning of the film. And so her friend Regina King's character gets her out to go on this trip with her boyfriend and her boyfriend's work buddy, who's played by Tupac Shakur, and they all go on a trip to Oakland because they both have to go there. They have to deliver mail there, and Janet has also attended a hair show. And what you get is you get to see this what starts off as a very tense relationship between Lucky and Justice that ends up blossoming into a beautiful relationship. And again, John Singleton's movies, man, they tug at you so much. They really do. I want to talk more about Poetic Justice, but I don't want to let the video go on too long. But and then last up, you got Baby Boy, which who doesn't know about Baby Boy at this point? Tyrese Gibson, you've got Taraji P. Henson, you've got Ving Rhames, you've got AJ Johnson, you've got Omar Gooding in here, which is Cuba's brother. You got him in this movie as well, and you've also got Snoop Dogg. So basically, what Baby Boy is basically telling the story of of a guy who still lives at home with his mama, and how he's the center of his world and everything. He can't do no wrong, but there's a lot of tense moments between Tyrese's character and Ving Rhames' character. So it's again another really classic hood movie. And it put Taraji P. Henson on the map. And it also put Tyrese on the map too, because I think the movie he did after this was another movie that John Singleton directed. A lot of people forget he directed it, and that was Too Fast, Too Furious. Look it up. You don't believe me? Look it up. But yeah, all these movies, they have such great storytelling, and the fact that John Singleton not only wrote, he directed and he produced these films, and he was one of the first directors out there to go in with a producer mindset. But he was a phenomenal writer as well as a great and outstanding director. Now, as much as I would like other movies be included, I understand that this is not part of his Hood trilogy. I mean, one of my all-time favorites is Higher Learning. I've said it a lot in a lot of different discussions I've been involved with people in the YouTube community. And Higher Learning is a really, really good all-time favorite for me as well. You've got Rosewood. You've got he had his producing chops on Hustle and Flow. He had producing chops on there's a few other ones too. And then Four Brothers, that's another really good one that he did that a lot of people don't realize he directed. So, and then of course, at the very tail end of his life, he did Snowfall. So John Singleton, we salute you. I'm glad to finally own these movies in my collection in 4K at that, and they look amazing. Speaking of looking amazing, let's talk about the transfers. So, Boys in the Hood. I mean, what can I say? I've seen it before in 4K. Again, this is a reference disc, okay, people? The only difference between the one that's here included in this Criterion release is that it gives you Dolby Vision. The one on the Sony release, I believe, was HDR10. But again, still maintains beautiful color, beautiful transfer overall. And then that Dolby Atmos track, man, it sounded so good. I mean, you hear the helicopters flying above your head. The scene where they're in Crenshaw, when they're on Crenshaw hanging out, and then the dude pulls out his gun and fires it in the air. You feel like you're there because you hear people walking by, you hear cars rolling up and down the strip. It is such a good Atmos track and such an amazing transfer. I mean, it's the best this movie's ever looked. And then you've got Poetic Justice. Poetic Justice looks amazing too. This was a great transfer as well. And then you've also got Baby Boy, which Baby Boy, it looked great too. But I would say, honestly, the first two, in my opinion, they looked better than Baby Boy. And that's not to say Baby Boy looked bad. It still looked great as well. But I would say, as far as from a transfer standpoint, I feel like Baby Boy is probably a little bit on the weaker side. But again, all movies have amazing audio tracks. I mean, they sound flat out amazing. I mean, those 2.0s are no joke. Just because they're a 2.0 doesn't mean they're weak. I mean, they hit you hard, especially if you got a DTSX neural up mixer on your system. So, but yeah, that's speaking to the sound and the transfer itself. The special features that they put on this thing, I mean, they put everything in this. I mean, they got every single thing that's ever been out for Boys in the Hood, including the casting, the audition footage for each movie. They included all of that in here as well. There's a conversation between Ryan Coogler and Regina King, which is worth a watch because they talk about both of their interactions with John Singleton throughout their careers. You know, they talk about when they first met him and how they've learned so much from John Singleton and how they incorporated some of his teachings into their own craft. And I thought that was a very, very beautiful feature. And then there's another one on here that's a documentary on his filmmaking process, which includes his publicist, Cassandra Butcher, casting director Kimberly Harden, and collaborator Paul Hall. That was a really good one too because it gives you a really great insight on how he approached his films, from pre-production to post-production. Like they all said John Singleton was a really great guy. He was nice. He would give your shirt off his back. But one thing he did not tolerate was slackers and people who misguided his trust. And if anyone did that, they were removed from the set permanently. So he didn't take any junk. So there's that too. But like I said, it includes special features that has been released from all the films. They're all included in this release. And one of the things I thought was really cool, especially on the Baby Boy portion of it, they didn't have any video of a sit-down interview between Taraji P. Henson or Tyrese, but they had new audio where they're talking about certain scenes during the time of them making it. And I thought that was really good too. So that's the new thing they've included on Baby Boy. There wasn't really anything too new on the poetic justice side of things, but it's great we do have what we have on here. I thought that was amazing. They do have the audition footage on poetic justice in here as well. But yeah, overall, just to say, this is an amazing set. I highly recommend it. If when Barnes and Noble has their 50% off Criterion sale, I definitely recommend you guys jump on. As a matter, look, it gets my seal of approval. It gets my seal of approval. So, and again, like I said, I can't say enough about this release. But anywho, that does it for the review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys been watching my videos, like always, I mean, let's chime in the discussion down there in the comment section. I want to hear what you guys think. Was John Singleton one of your favorite movie directors? If so, I want to hear about it. What was your favorite John Singleton movie? I want to hear it down in the comments. And also, once again, if you've been watching my videos and you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe. It helps me out a ton. It motivates me to get more content out to you guys. And again, to my current subscribers, thank you all so much for sticking around. I do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And I will talk to you guys later. Peace.